Welcome to your quick dance inspired flow. Let's start by grounding through the feet and finding a big inhale through the nose. Allow an exhale out. And then when it feels good, reaching those arms up and overhead, let the hands land behind the head, elbows out wide. Starting to find side bends, take it right and left. And notice how you can grow through the waistline. You can find an inhale as one elbow heads to one side and an exhale to bring you back through your center line. Beautiful. Taking slow and easy breaths, just noticing how the body is doing. Notice how the body is feeling today. And when it feels good, reaching those arms lovely and long, starting to take circles moving forward for 6, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then allowing those circles to head back and behind for 8, 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing those arms down. Allowing the heels to come together, toes can come apart, our second position. And as we arrive in our second position, just tucking the tailbone under, almost like you could put a tail between your legs. Starting to find points on the right side for 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2. And last one, as you come back through, squeeze the heels, moving to the left side. Now, as we point, we want to think about really squeezing front of the leg and squeezing back of the leg, squeezing bum and allowing that tailbone to sit tucked under. Continuing on this left side, and then moving back to the right for 8, and 7, 6, and 5, 4, and 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful. Landing back, squeeze the inner thighs, moving towards the left side for 7, and 6, 5, and 4, 3, and 2, 1. And as the heels glue back together, we're going to start to find a lower and lift on those toes. So starting to work on a lift up high on the toe pads. And then as we drop it down, we squeeze the heels together, squeeze inner thighs together. And you can kind of think about squeezing your bum as you lift up high on the toes. And as you lower down, think about really gluing and squeezing inner thighs, squeezing heels together. Notice how you start to get into the back of the calves, you start to get into your glutes here, and allow your body to stand tall, allow chest to stay proud and chin to stay proud. And moving through just a few more here at your own pace for 2 and for 1. Beautiful. Starting to move into a standing leg extension. And here, toes will be parallel. Left toes are going to stay forward. Right toes are going to step towards the back of the mat. So on different train tracks. As we arrive here, a generous bend through that left knee and start to send the chest forward, almost a little bit of a hinge at the hips. We're going to point the right toes and hover the right toes off the mat for 7, 6, squeezing through the back of the leg as we move for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. As we arrive here, standing up to the top of the mat, switching sides. Left toes step back, nice big bend through that right knee. We start to lift and lower for 7, and 6, 5, and 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Beautiful. Stepping up to the top of the mat. Let's take it to the opposite side. So left foot stays forward, right toes step back. We find that bend, that hinge forward. We start to lift and lower, really reaching the toes for the back of the room. We want to think about squeezing front of the leg and back of the leg, squeezing bum. And most importantly, thinking about knitting those ribs together, belly buttons plugging in towards the spine. Sort of a little bit of a balance act. And switching sides. So send the left toes back, right leg's grounded. We lift and lower for 7, and 6, 5, and 4, 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful. Standing up to the top of the mat, allow yourself to land there. Shake it out. And then let's take the feet nice and wide, finding a nice 45-degree external rotation with those toes. We start to think about that tuck of the pelvis again. We're going to start to bend the knees and sit it on down, little squat. Beautiful. And as we start to squat, maybe we reach those arms forward, get a little momentum with those arms, a little bit of energy here. And inner thighs are tracking out wide, knees are tracking wide over those toes. Beautiful. We got it. And then the next time you sit down, let's find tiny pulses to the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow yourself to fold over those legs. And just take a moment to pause, notice how you're doing, how you're feeling. And then when it feels good, stacking the spine one vertebrae at a time. Let's go for one more round, sitting on down for 7 and 6. Squeezing the bum for 5 and 4 for 3 for 2. And last one, sit it low, hold it there. As we arrive in that hold, tiny pulses to the floor for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stand it up tall, find a big inhale, use the exhale, folding forward. Arriving here, allowing yourself to just land, allow the toes to start to come parallel, and then stacking the spine one vertebrae at a time, reaching the arms for the ceiling, and then exhale, land through heart center. Heel toeing the feet on in. We're just going to find some grounding, allow the hands to fall out where they may, and just take a few deep breaths here. As we start to move down onto the mat, tuck the chin into the chest, and rolling on down. We're going to set up on all fours, so hands under those shoulders, knees under the hips, and we can untuck the toes. As we arrive here, sending the right toes back and behind you, starting to work through some rainbow taps. Tapping right toes down to the right hand side of the mat, and then allowing a half circle to the left hand side of the mat. As we move through these, allow those hands to press the floor away, keep the shoulders active and on, and reaching through the toes, through the back of the leg. As we come back towards the midline, tiny pulses to the ceiling for 6, for 4, for 2, and 1. Drop that leg down and moving to the left side. Allowing that left leg to reach back, point the toe. Start to find those taps for 8, and 7, for 6, and 5, for 4, and 3, for 2, and last one. Beautiful. As you come back through the midline of the body, length through the back of the leg, tiny pulses for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down. Shake it out. Maybe you shake those hips and just allow yourself to find breath here. Moving back to the right side of the body. So extending that right leg back and behind you, point the toe. Think about that squeeze. We go for 8, and 7, 6, and 5, 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Coming back through center, tiny pulses to the ceiling for 8, 7. As we pulse here, belly button is pulled in. We are knitted through the rib cage for 3, 2, and 1. Drop it off onto the mat. Think about your breath. Big inhale. Extend the left leg back, starting to find those taps for 8, 7, 6, and 5, for 4, and 3, for 2, and 1. As you move back through the midline, long leg pulses for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Drop it off onto the mat. Allow yourself to land there. Take a seat back and onto the heels or come to seated and just allow yourself to find breath. Steady inhale through the nose and an exhale out. Show yourself gratitude for arriving on the mat today and allowing your body and mind exactly what it needs.